Right, so the next job is to get some laths on here to take the cornice running that way. I know this is board, but that's fine because that's just going to be plastered. This, because it's the laths, because it's the cornice, I'd rather see it on laths because they can hook over. It's not really going to stick to the board. Right, so I've pre-cut my laths to size. Yeah. Right, that's that side done. Just got the opposite side to do now, and then we're ready for putting a bit of gear on. So I'm going to fire a coat of bonding over this here. Now, it's not cheating because there's not a cat in hell's chance of any moisture coming through this. So using a bit of the old gypsum plaster is a-okay. Now the reason I'm using it rather than lime is because of the time factor. I really need to push this job on now. And if I do with this with lime, I've got to put a coat over what's already there. I've then got to leave it for a week, then come back and put another coat on it, leave it a couple of days, and come back and put some more, and so on. So I'm going with the old cornite bonding. Like I say, it's not cheating. It's adding a touch of modern to a touch of old to save a little bit of time. Of course, the cornice will be run with lime, but the finished cornice, should I say. Let's build that right out. I'm going to run a straight edge across it using the board to follow. And of course we won't be using the gypsum on any of the walls because they could possibly pull moisture in, so that will be in line. Now by doing that with this, going across it like that and dragging off, I know that that section now is in line with the main ceiling. So when I do come to do the cornice, I've not got any undulations, if that's the word, to deal with. Right, so we'll give that 5 just to pull in a bit, and then I'll just touch it up. There's a couple of little low spots, but want it to pull in a bit first. So meantime, we'll start getting this bit on. Okay, so that's all coated. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a straight edge over it, and then I'm going to have a play about with the square, because really I want that angle to be square. Right, so we got our set square. We just pop it on there and check it with the frame. Now, this board underneath here is perfectly square with the window frame. We know that this edge here is square because it was cut on the table saw. So we're now going to use that along with that edge to make sure that that is lovely and square with everything. We just put our square right into the corner, make sure it's square to the timber, and slowly, very slowly, drag it across like so. Now what this is going to do, it's going to show you low spots and take off any high spots. There you go. Big wad taken off. That's the first pass. So salvage that, put it in the bucket, because that'll come in for the low spots. Go over it again. Again, not too fast. If you go too fast, you might get a bit of a wobble in it, which you don't want. And as flat as possible. That there. We'll drive it there. That's basically how you get it lovely and square. Come back the other direction now. A bit faster, because we know we've taken most of it off. And we're still quite low at this end here. So what we'll do, we'll just use the bit we've dragged off just to fill out a couple of low spots down this way, and then we'll mix up some more and build out that end where it's low. Doing it this way basically gives you that perfect wall, because you know there's a chance that they're going to be hanging, say, curtains or something like that from this bulkhead here at some stage. So you want it square and plumb and level, and otherwise it's just going to look a mess. Going over with the trowel there, flattening it up. It's already started to pull in now, this. Little bit down there. Okay, so now that's starting to take shape. Now, if anybody who's been following the different episodes of the plastering on this particular project, you may recall that where we're doing now was just a void to nothingness. Originally, it'll have been box/windows with all the boxing around it and everything and the weights and all that kind of stuff. Well, at some stage, somebody's ripped all that out. So it was nothing there at all. It was just the backside of the external wall and stonework. So we're about so from all that. I built a frame, hung it off the floor joist, and sheeted it with visqueen. So there's no moisture going to come through that at all. That's a good, solid, neat repair. Right, next. Now, some of you may be wondering what was under this before we put that on. Well, we'd used metal lath. So we covered all this over the framework with visqueen, and then we put some sheets of metal lath on it, and then we've coated it up with a lime mortar. Now, that was several weeks ago, so this is now sewn hard. We're using a lightweight on here now for two reasons. One, to speed the job up, and two, to keep down the weight. We don't want that much weight on here because, after all, it's going to have a great big lump of cornice on it as well. So try and keep as much weight up as we can. So now what we need to check, the old derby. This is just basically a big long trowel, for those that don't know. And I'm just gonna, I thought this ceiling here kind of, it's like that, because what happens is, this is Victorian, it had laths on it, then it was floated, that was straightened up with something like that. And that made it nice and straight, because at the end of the day, the timbers, unlike today, they weren't that precise with them because it was going to have laths on, so it didn't really matter. So they concentrated more on the floors upstairs, getting them straight. If there was a bit of a dip or etc. underneath, fine. We can just put laths on and we can float it out. Now, standing here, I can actually see this boardwork like that. I'm going to have to float all this ceiling out, like I've done here, to straighten it up. So just a bit of a thing for the builder out there that does that. You know, you take down a lath and plaster ceiling and you just board straight on. You are going to have to float it out to get it straight again. You know, there's no ifs, buts, and maybes about it because they were never straight. That's why they were floated. Right. So we need to put a bit more on this ceiling and then go over it with the derby to make sure it's straight. Now we get our derby and into the back there and slowly pull it forward like so. Not too much pressure on it. Too much pressure and you pull it all off. Again, saving the excess to be reused. Over it again. Giving it a little bit of side to side on an angle. Like so. Now the reason I'm going to so much trouble with this is because when I run the cornice on the chimney breast, I had a lot of hassle with it because the ceiling was like that and the wall was all over the place, and the cornice at either side was at two different levels because, again, when they've taken all the laths off, they've allowed all the cornice to start dropping, and they tried fixing it with expanding foam. So I had to try and jiggle and juggle the one on the chimney breast, which I managed to do. I mean, I'm not 100% happy with it, but it's passable. So I want this one to be accurate and just run nice and smooth. Because at the end of the day, this bay window is a feature window, so it needs to be perfect on here. So we'll go to that little bit of trouble to get it nice and flat and bang on. Right, so that's everything built out to where we require it. This has already started to set in now, so I'll get a few scratches in that. But this is really going to speed up the job. Building out the cornice, basically to where it starts to shape up, and then that'll be done with a lime putty. And there you go. One inch baton. We're going to need two. And then we've got a couple of bits spare for the end. Okay. Now these machines are dangerous as hell, especially when they're old like this one and they haven't got a guard on it and things. But before there was a joiner, and I can remember as a child saying to him, "Is he not scared of these?" Because I was terrified of him, you know, being in his workshop and all these big machines going. And he said, if you're not scared of it, it becomes dangerous. Now think about it. It's very true. If you're scared, you're cautious. If you're confident, you're not. Anyway, there you go. Right, next bit is get these buttons set out and fixed, ready for running the old cornice. Okay, so our very first job is to wet up that little bit there that's damaged, because we're going to go over that. I've stripped it back to the bare plasterwork, no paint on it. So we're going to repair that bit and running this bit here. Now we're using a combination of a lime putty, which is a couple of days old, and some casting plaster. Now the casting plaster will set this off within probably 15 minutes, which is good. Right, I've done this stuff quite runny, as you can probably see there. I'm just going to completely coat that there with the plaster, pushing it in. Get plenty into that corner there. Awkward really, it's a bit wet, but I don't want it to set too quickly, you see. Right, so we've got that coated up, and then what we want is one of these, which is our running mould. So we put that into the existing plasterwork, and we run it in between the two battens. As you can see there, it's already started to produce that shape. Now it's not going to be perfect with the first pass. Of course you're running on existing there, and there's bits of crap and stuff in the paint that so it's a little bit awkward. But that's the first bit on. We'll leave that for a while now to set in a bit. We'll put some water on it, we'll go over it again, and then we'll start filling it out where it needs it. Let's give that a dampen up. It's still quite wet, to be honest, but I get a bit more water into it. It never hurts. Right. Okay. I'm no means an expert at this. It's usually a separate job from the plasterer, is the decorative work. I've done bits over the years, so I do have a rough idea of what we're doing. Of course, you want to put more on than you need, because you're going to drag it off, and that's how you form the shape. So you don't want it flush to your batten. You want it just past it really, and drag off the excess. Clean the batten off. There we go. Right, again, we want the running mould. We'll start at that end again and just slowly work our way through. Slipped off there, go back on. You can see there how it's slowly forming that shape. We keep repeating that now, and we'll do it right the way up there until eventually we've got that shape. And then as it starts to set in, we start to refine it. We don't want to be mixing huge batches at a time because it does set fairly quickly. Try not to waste any. Pushing it into the backing coat there to make sure it gets hold of it. It wants to be going into them scratches that are in there. What should I say, on there? This is starting to stiffen up now. Right, okay. Lovely, that's taking shape nicely now. There. this will be the last pass before we leave it for a minute or two. Some water on it now to help it slide nice and easy. Alright. Okay, so we're getting there slowly but surely. Plenty of water on that one. It's looking fairly straight now, that, which is good. Bit awkward doing a little piece, I must admit. You know, you're on and off before you know it. But anyway, that's really taking shape now. So we'll build up this, go over that, and we'll keep repeating that process until we've got the whole thing run in. And there you go. I'm not going to the corner, leaving it there, because obviously you've got two have to come together. So we'll make the corners up once we've run all the sections. Simple. Right, well that's pretty much the end of a long day. Managed to get it all run. Well, get it all run. I've got the corners to get in and one end. But yeah, I'll give you a look. There we go. Still got that side there to get in, but that'll be tomorrow now. So I've run out of lime putty. I've just got some more on the go. It's down there, bubbling away. Right, so we're probably going to cut this video here for this week because it's getting slightly longer than normal. So, you know, don't want to bore you too much with what I do. But there you go. It's nice and level, as you can tell from the plasterwork beneath the new cornice. And that's what we were aiming for. So that's quite good. There is a difference in levels between the two sides of the bay, though, or it's hard to explain. It's the ceiling is at a level from that side to that side. There's quite a discrepancy. Now I've squared the batten off this side, and I've run a level right round it, and it gets to that corner there, and it's not lining in. So it's got to give somewhere, and it's going to have to be there, because it's correct with that piece there in that corner. It's level right round, but it's wrong with that. But I can see that that cornice is actually shooting up. I don't know if the camera's picking that up there, but you can see that original cornice on the corner is actually going up. And I think the far end of it is going down. I think that's what the problem is. But we'll juggle it and make it look right. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. So hope you enjoyed. Sorry I didn't get one out last week. Just really didn't get time to do any filming. But I've done a new one this week. As usual, if you've enjoyed, give us some thumbs up, hit that like button, you know what they say. And welcome to all the new subscribers of recent. Glad you're enjoying the channel. And don't forget, thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Right, we'll see you all next week for another episode of Buggering About with Old Buildings.